Hey everybody, what's going on? Fabian for Liberty. So is China and America, the U.S., are they ready to go to war over what's happening in the Korean Peninsula? I did a video about this earlier this week. I've been talking about a global reset for some time centered around global war. I got to tell you, my gut tells me this isn't going to happen, but I've been obviously wrong many times before. Anything is possible, and that's what we're going to talk about now. But first, I want to say that North Korea approved a nuclear strike on the United States. Think about that. I mean, aside from all the globalist scum, plans and orchestration of all these events or many of these events, coming out and talking about on the media where basically a country is claiming we got plans, we're ready to go. In fact, North Korea, this is according to the AP, North Korea dramatically escalated the warlike rhetoric on Thursday, warning that it had authorized plans for nuclear strikes on targets in the U.S. Quote, the quote from a North Korean military official said, "The moment of explosion is approaching fast. War could break out today or tomorrow." Now, supposedly cities in the U.S., like in Austin, are like getting ready in case of nuclear war breaking out. Now, first off, let's get past the rhetoric. Most analysts say that, yes, even though they fired a long ballistic missile, the North Koreans did, earlier this year, also detonated a nuclear explosion, tested a nuclear explosion in February, most people claim they really don't have the capability of launching nuclear warheads. It's one thing to have it, another thing to launch it successfully with precision and hit a city or whatever it may be. But I mean, look, we know about EMP strikes. You basically get a pretty, easy missile system put together, launch a nuclear warhead above a U.S. city, and basically it lights out in half of the country. I mean, could that happen? In fact, North Korean shipping vessels are constantly patrolling the Pacific, which you could think this is the Pacific, to the western, the west of the U.S., California, Oregon, all those areas. So, I mean, you can't rule that out. I don't necessarily think that's going to happen. But anyways, could China and the U.S., are they ready for war? I did a little map here. I know it's not the greatest, but just deal with me. I think I deal with it. I think it just conveys the point here. So North Korea is here. South Korea is here. Military buildup on the Chinese border. For the last couple of days, the Chinese have been amassing a huge presence of troops along the border. Now, let me stress that it's not only just tanks and armored personnel, armored vehicle, the army. Also, jets are flying all over, these Russian-made jets. One of them crashed a few days ago. The Chinese are doing this for two reasons. One of them is pretty obvious because it's happened before in history. Actually, both of them have. If there's a major war between the South and the North, and the U.S. is drawn in, you'll have a major exodus of refugees leave North Korea, try to get into China. So China wants to avoid that. They want to contain that, probably set up refugee camps along the border, what have you. The second thing is China has an agreement with North Koreans that if North Koreans are attacked, the Chinese have their back. I mean, they're going to defend them. Just like if Japan or South Korea is attacked, all these countries have a pact with the U.S. that the U.S., they'll all defend each other. Now, this leads me to think, okay, the North Korean president, I mean, he's in his early 30s, graduated. A lot of you have been commenting, not a lot of you, but some of you, he's a Rothschild-owned puppet. He did attend school in Switzerland. He's educated in Europe. Is that a possibility? Again, I don't rule anything out. But is this little guy ready to literally go to nuclear war? I mean, think about it. If you're him, you're either ready to say, you know what, I'm going to go down in the history books, I'm going to do it for my legacy, or you're being told by the Chinese, you better do what we want you to do. Because the escalations, there's no doubt about it, the escalations over the last 6 months by the North Koreans have been pretty, they've been more so than in the past. I mean, this has happened in the past too. Like I said a couple days ago, the North Koreans shot down South Korean passenger airline, killed everybody. In 2010, they shelled the South Korean island. So they've done this kind of stuff in the past. But in the last 6 months, I mean, they're detonating nuclear devices. Now they're claiming they're going to detonate another one much bigger. And now they're coming out and saying nuclear war against the U.S. They're ready to rock and roll. So is this happening because the Chinese are doing this? Look, the bottom line is this. China could be testing Obama. They know that Obama's weak. Remember, Obama's bowing to the president of China. Now, I don't get into this, this whole notion of America's better than everybody else. I do believe that we are unique in the respect that we are a free republic, or we were founded on principles that are unique to the world. Remember, the world, for the most part of recorded history, slavery has been the history of recorded man for pretty much 5,000 years, with the exception of America. We are exceptional in that regard, that we don't live in slavery. Now, many other countries have joined recently in Europe and in others, but, we are unique because of that way. But nonetheless, and I say that because, Obama's a freaking weakling that shouldn't be bowing to anybody. Just like I don't expect the Chinese president to bow to the U.S. president. It's strange. North Korea is clearly a proxy of the Chinese. But, if this goes down, the U.S. has 30,000 troops along that border, that militarized zone right here. They're going to be taken out. Seoul is almost right on the border. The North Koreans will take that out as well. This can get pretty ugly. And the truth is that China doesn't necessarily need to go to war with anybody, if you think about it. I've talked about for some time how war isn't just bullets, tanks, and guns anymore. War is now financial. War has been waged financially for years. In fact, America has done it really well, most recently with Iran, by, in essence, collapsing their economy, causing hyperinflation with the real because of, I think it's the real, because of the policies that they've enacted and they have been completely devastating to the central bank of Iran. The Chinese could simply just dump the T-bills of America. In fact, they could say, listen, you better not do anything crazy because we'll dump your T-bills. We don't even need to go to war. And we will cause a huge panic in your treasury market, and we'll really put the hurt on you. And look, again, they know Obama's weak. So if that happens, how does Obama respond? How does America respond? The news is a buzz today with just basically all different kinds of generals, the defense secretary, Kerry, the secretary of state, all saying this is getting crazy. It's getting to levels we haven't seen in a while, what have you. So my question to you is very simple. Is America and China ready to go to war over the Korean Peninsula? Is the Chinese, this is what I think, the Chinese are using North Korea to test Obama. If you believe my theory being that the world will go into an economic global reset, I believe not for the next several years, but who knows, could happen tomorrow, could happen, next week. The world will go into an economic reset centered around global war. And the Chinese, you better believe, will be playing a big role in that. And there's no question they want to test Obama, who has 4 more years in office, and see what's his response. What does he do? How crazy does he get? Because so far, they've sent 2 U.S. destroyers over there today. They've sent U.S. warplanes as well as part of a big exercise. But nonetheless, they were also sending stealth fighters. Sending the clear message. So a lot of stuff going on. Want to hear your feedback if you enjoy it. Please share it with your friends on Facebook and on Twitter. I'm Fabian for Liberty. Check out FabianForLiberty.com. I'm out.